Hello and welcome to In the Studio. This is episode number 44. I've been working on this remix all day, and I've implemented Vocodex on this project, and it turned out nice. So I thought that I might show you how I've used it in this case. I'm just going to give you a quick preview of the remix I'm working on here, and the sounds we'll be working with. There's a nice little ARP line playing, and the vocoder is just accenting some of the notes on that ARP. So listen for that, and that's what we'll be taking a closer look at today. Let's give that a play. Alright, so that's the remix. I've stripped some of the parts back so you can better hear what's going on. I haven't gone into arrangement mode with this yet. I'm still building a few parts, but it's about to that point. So, yeah, I have this ARP line playing, and the vocoder's accenting, you know, just the first beat every 2 bars on that ARP. So I was going to try and do just a full-on vocoder ARP, but that wasn't really working so well. So I'll show you what I've done here. Every 2 bars here, I've just, let me get this out of the way. And I've already done this and bounced it out as a loop here. But I just found, you know, the note right here for here and here. This is just an F sharp and an E, and I thought that was a nice place to just accent on the ARP. So I've used one of the stems from the remix and a patch and massive, and instead of just, you know, doing a vocal stab to accent it or a simple synth stab, I've combined the two and with the vocoder, and it turned out nicely, I think. So I'll show you how to set this up. It's really easy. So what you want to do is you need to have a modulator and a carrier. The modulator is typically the vocal. It can be different sources. It could be percussion or something like that, but usually it's vocal. And then the carrier is usually the synth. So the patch and massive, I've just layered up with the ARP, an F sharp, E, F sharp, and an E. And then I laid the vocal underneath it, and that's going to be modulating the synth or massive. So those are both in the mixer here. We got our massive and the vocals on this track. So you're going to want to unroute both of those from the master and send both of those into another track. In this case, I've labeled that vocode, and that's where you're going to place your vocoder. So pull up Vocodex, both those tracks are running in. Now let's set this up. What you want to do underneath the mod right here on that box, you're going to right click and select your modulation source, and in this case it's Don't Fall or the vocal. Click it, boom, and I've obviously already done this, and then the carrier is going to be massive, or my synth, whatever you're using to carry the signal. So this is what it's going to sound like now, and this is going to sound a little bit different from the bounced out version because I've kind of played with it and tweaked it a little bit. And you could actually bring in the vocal as well. You could bleed that in right here. In this case, I've left that out and just used the vocal as a modulation source. I thought it would be better to, if I did want to layer that vocal underneath it, to have it on a separate, its own channel, so I have further control over it. But I mean, that's the basics of how you set that up. Let's kind of run you through some of the basic fundamental parameters here. I'm not going to go super in depth with this because it's a pretty in-depth plugin, and that's a whole nother video. So you just have your basic wet dry mix here. This little guy here is this actually a built-in sound goodizer. So I've just kicked that up a little bit. This is the modulation source input level here. So I just showed you that's the actual vocal. And there's a high pass for that. This is the carrier input or the synth. And by default, that's low pass. Just to kind of take some of the harshness that can happen with vocoding on the top end, but you have control over that here. The high pass, you could introduce some noise here, which can sound good, but in this case it sounded like shit, so I left that out. And then up here, there is a different way to route this. You can do left-right encoding or modulator carrier. So if you have that selected and you have a stereo source, it's going to take the left channel as the modulation source and the right channel as the carrier. And that's actually how the dumbed down version of this plugin Fruity vocoder works. So that's that. That section kind of explained. There's an envelope follower to kind of, more to sculpt your sound, the way the modulation is happening. I'm not going to go super into depth with that. This is just your bandwidth control here. And this just smears that out a little bit. It's the band multiplier. You have a pitch control here. Then some unison controls. This kind of what is this? It's called the filter fatness. This kind of affects how the modulation frequencies are distributed. So you can play around with that and get a slightly different sound. And then I'm not going to go into all this down here. This is a whole nother video. If you want me to go into that, let me know, but I'm not going to do it for this video. I just kind of wanted to show you how I've used the vocoder, the Vocodex in this case on this track. So that's the video for today. I hope it was enjoyable for you. Hope maybe you learned something, maybe how to route the vocoder. It's really easy, and you could do a lot of cool things with it. You can make a full-on vocoded ARP, or have it be something subtle in the background like I've done here. But yeah, kind of get your hands dirty with this because it's a really powerful little tool. So have fun with it. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.